All right, I can call my partner in crime back in here, Zach Dodge, because I told him that. Yeah,
oh, there I am. Cool.
Here we go.
Yeah.
All right, so I told you that we got a heat wave coming.
Yeah.
Right, and we'll get to our records here in a second. It was 38 years ago yesterday that the lowest temperature, as far as an inhabitable region of the world, was recorded. It was down in Antarctica.
Right.
And you go, that's not inhabitable. Well, as a matter of fact, there's a number of countries that have science stations down there. 128.6 degrees below zero. July 21, 1983.
That's way too cold.
128.6 below
zero. And you're saying that's inhabitable in any shape
well, you ain't going outside.
Form of the word.
I know that.
I think Michael Hayslip is somewhat
Penguins ain't
crazy.
going out. Oh, no. Me and Cole, what? You know me. I complain when it's 60 degrees. Are you kidding me? All right, now, speaking of records, our record on this July 22nd would be no surprise. It would be back to the heat wave that spans from 1952 to 1954, with 54 picking off this individual day at 108 degrees. So all of a sudden, I wanted to give everybody the extremes right there because maybe by the time we get to the 7-day forecast, things really don't seem too bad. Whole lot of low to mid 80s right now. We talked about the temperature difference pre-sunrise to where we are with southeast Kansas, actually the recipients of a whole lot of warm up. And the reason being, look at those wind arrows. So while in southwest Missouri, it's still gradually coming in from the southeast, in southeast Kansas, it's now coming in south, if not southwest. And so that's why not only an uptick in the wind miles per hour, but also a little bit warmer temperatures, and that is exactly why we already see a 90 on the heat index reading for Parsons. Pittsburgh sits at 89, and then compare that to 86 in Webb and 85 right now in Carthage. Skywatch Storm Tracker has remained clear, albeit we do have a little light cloud cover, and then as we look at the Continental 48, not a whole lot of action, minus all that green down there by the Gulf Coast. So what exactly is that? Well, this is kind of curious and kind of interesting because you'll also notice how that area shows up as part of the severe thunderstorm risk map, albeit nothing serious. But what we have is a low pressure system that developed in between Mississippi and Alabama. That developed late last night / early this morning. In the time we've had right now, it's been able to make its way into Georgia. Well, if this thing keeps on that same track and we put on the infrared satellite, look at what this low pressure is doing. It's forcing everything off the coast. Seems like a good idea, I understand. But also, too, that's where conditions get ripe for it to turn into a possible named storm. Don't see this very often, something that starts over land and then generates in the ocean and then could come back on land. But that's one thing we'll keep our eyes on over the weekend from a national perspective. Like I said, we've probably got about 72 hours before that thing actually has a chance to develop. Back here to the 4 states, I want to remind everybody that our peak heating hours are really between 4 to 5 p.m. So if you want to get out early this afternoon, you're not going to be too bad. But then it's that 4 to 6. Let's call it 4 to 6. That's when the heat and the mercury, they really set in. And you'll also see we got a chance for a little bit of rain coming up from northwest Arkansas, especially when you get south of I-44. Really not going to be able to make it past there, and then we dry off for Friday. But Zach, here's what happens. We were talking about that wind shifting. Once it comes in from the south and our heat dome collapses up to the north, then it's a true taste of a hot July. We're going to be talking about mid-90s by the time we get to the weekend, all the way into next week.
Mid-90s, cool.
Would you rather take 94, 95, or 108 in 1954, or minus 128.6 in 1983?
I'm not going to justify that question with a response.
That's why I love working with him, folks.
Thank you, Michael.